In the past 3 years, I've read countless of productivity books and experiment with just about every single productivity hack. But there's just one habit of tracking one specific metric that I found to be the most effective, allowing me to get 8 hours of work done in 2, and save up to 3 to 6 hours of wasted time per day, allowing me to save up to 20 hours a week. It's not hard and it's very simple to track. The metric is called your focus ratio or your focus rate. You get this metric by dividing the quality hours you spent working on your computer, the focus, deep work focus, over the total hours you spent working on your computer. This gives you your focus rate or ratio. Once I started tracking my focus rate, my time and energy was prioritized on what will grow my business and life. I didn't need to work as many hours in the day because I was effective with my time. And because of that, that freed me hours of the day that I would have spent distracted. And now I could use that time into progressing my business and life. I'll show you exactly how to leverage your focus rate in the next 8 minutes so you can get more work done in less time. But first, how many hours are you working on your computer? Is it 4, 6, 8, maybe 12 hours on your computer? It doesn't really matter, because what matters is the quality of those hours on your computer. Because the amount of hours you work on your computer is not a reliable productivity metric. What matters in productivity is what you get done in those hours. It's the activities that you work on and what you complete that matters. It's not the amount of hours you work. Because if you would ask anyone, do you want to work 12 hours if you didn't need to? Everyone would say no. But if you tell them if you could get something done as soon as possible, they'd say yes. So that is the purpose of productivity, is to get more work done in less time, not spend more time on your computer to get less work done. Because you can work 16 hours on your computer working on the wrong things and have the sense of feeling that you're productive, but then nothing changes in your life. This is why what really matters is to distinguish what is high quality work and what is low quality work. When you're able to distinguish high quality work and low quality work, this is when your productivity actually transforms, because you're not just going through the motions, you're sitting on your computer with an intention to progress your life and business. And almost 100% of the time, the high leverage activities, the needle moving activities that's gonna make you more money or drastically change things in your life requires deep focus. It requires deep levels of uninterrupted focus, or periods of time in the day where you have zero distractions and you really go deep into what matters. This is why tracking your focus ratio really gives you insightful information on the quality of your work. And the first step to doing that is to have the distinguish between what's high quality work and what's low quality work. Once you have that distinction, then you're able to use your focus ratio effectively, or your focus rate effectively. For me, focus work is what's going to move my business forward and what's going to make me more money. This means the more hours I've spent focused working on progressing my business forward relative to the total hours I spend on my computer, the higher my focus ratio is. And the higher my focus ratio is, the faster I'm able to progress my business forward. And I get this number, again, by dividing the total hours I spent focused over the total hours I spent on my computer. This is gonna give you a number between 0 to 100%. Now, what determines a good focus ratio and a bad focus ratio and an excellent focus ratio? 0 to 25% is bad, 25% to 50% is good, and anything above 50% is excellent. Now, many people claim they work 10 hours a day, but if you actually look at the hours they'll progress their mission, vision, and principles, the quality hours, it's probably less than 2 hours, 1 or 2 hours max. And if you look at their focus ratio, that gets them a focus ratio of around 20%, which is bad. Even I used to work 8 hours a day, and possibly 1 to 2 hours of those hours was focused productive work, and I had a really low focus ratio. But when I started realizing that focus work is more important than the amount of hours I work on computer, then I started to improve my focus ratio. And only when I started to improve my focus ratio was when I started to see significant improvements in my business progress. Then I started to remove everything else that wasn't focused work. Any of the repetitive admin, all that stuff, I removed that. And then I pretty much compressed 8 hours of work down into 2, and using my focus rate as a guide to make sure that I know what I'm focusing on during the daytime, making sure my focus rate is as high as possible, 60% plus. This alone saved me up to 20 hours a week on countless low impact activities, ranging from scrolling on my phone, hopping on endless calls, hopping on YouTube, watching Netflix during the day. All these things ruin your focus rate and ruins your capability of progressing the things that matters to you in your life and in your business. So this is the definition of productivity that I follow and I share with my clients. I'm gonna go ahead and read it to you guys. You don't need more time, you need more focus. If your focus ratio is low, you're working more than 8 hours a day, either two things are going on. Number one, most of your time is spent on shallow work, the work that doesn't require deep focus. This is the calls, admin work, meetings, responding to messages. Or number two, your time is spent on straight up distractions that isn't valuable. Scrolling, Netflix, checking notifications, and so on. This is why your focus ratio is so insightful. It immediately tells you the quality of your work hours. Is it on what's really going to transform your business and life, or is it on what's just going to maintain things and keep the status quo? When your focus ratio is low, it's a sign that you need to carve out more uninterrupted times for deep focus on your calendar and or consider eliminating and delegating tasks. If your focus ratio is high, that means most of your time is spent on what's going to transform your business and life. Your goal should be to get your focus ratio to 50% plus. Then you can choose to increase the hours you work, because then you know it's quality work and not just mindless autopilot work. The last thing you want is to have a low focus ratio and then think that you need more time. You're just gonna add more fluff to your day. You need to increase the quality of your work, not the quantity of your work. And if your focus ratio is low, I even recommend working less to force your focus ratio to increase. I like using the 2-hour constraint. If I were to work only for 2 hours a day, what would I work on? This constraint will force you to figure out what's high quality, because you only have 2 hours, you don't have 8 hours a day, so you're gonna have to think outside of the box to make sure those 2 hours is spent on what's high leverage. And any nice to haves have to be eliminated, and this forces you to be creative on what you replace, automate, or delegate. Now, that's why I love the focus rate. It really gives you insightful information on how to track your productivity. I use it and my clients use it. And if you want to start using it and you want more insights on how to use your focus rate, you can feel free to subscribe to this channel. And in the link in the description, I have a link to my newsletter where I share daily insights on how you could get 8 hours of work done in 2 hours. See you there.